Dr. Sarah Chen adjusted her worn lab coat as she stepped into the gleaming conference chamber of the Galactic Scientific Consortium. Around the circular table sat representatives from 12 different species, their varied forms a testament to the diversity of intelligent life scattered across the galaxy. The Zilithians with their crystalline exoskeletons hummed softly in harmonious frequencies, while the gaseous Nethrak floated in their containment suits, occasionally shifting colors to communicate emotions. Sarah looked utterly unremarkable among them, a small human female with graying hair tied back in a simple ponytail, her only distinguishing feature being the tired determination in her brown eyes. She had been summoned here not for any grand discovery or revolutionary technology, but because of a problem that had stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy for over 2 centuries, the quantum paradox of Kepler 442b. Dr. Chen, announced High Counselor Vexhai, a towering insectoid being whose compound eyes reflected the chamber's lights like tiny galaxies. Your species was recently admitted to our consortium, yet you claim to have insights into the paradox that has eluded our most brilliant scientists. Sarah nodded calmly, pulling out a simple tablet, primitive by galactic standards, but it was all Earth could afford to send with her. I've reviewed your data. 237 years of observations, 17 different theoretical frameworks, and approximately 4 million computational hours dedicated to solving why Kepler 442b exists in a quantum superposition visible to the naked eye. The Zilithian representative, Dr. Kessa Thaler, vibrated with what Sarah had learned was amusement. Indeed, the planet simultaneously exists and doesn't exist. Our instruments detect it, yet space-time behaves as if nothing is there. It violates every known law of physics. Your instruments are correct, Sarah said simply. So are your physical laws. You're just thinking about it wrong. A wave of skeptical silence rippled through the chamber. The Nethrak delegate, Wispara, shifted to a deep purple, the color of doubt in their emotional spectrum. Dr. Chen, we have devoted centuries to this problem. Our greatest minds have been thinking like machines, Sarah interrupted, gently. You've been approaching this as a computational problem, trying to process the paradox linearly, logically. But what if the solution requires something else entirely? She stood and walked to the chamber's holographic display, where the impossible planet flickered in and out of existence like a cosmic strobe light. In human psychology, we have a concept called lateral thinking. Instead of following logical progressions, we make unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. Pseudoscience, muttered the Orvanian delegate, his metallic features expressing disdain. Is it? Sarah smiled. Let me ask you something. When you observe Kepler 442b, what do you see? A planet that defies physics, replied Dr. Kestaller. An impossibility, added Wispara. Exactly. You see what it isn't, not what it is. Sarah's fingers danced across her tablet, pulling up a series of human children's drawings, crude, sketches of impossible objects, optical illusions, things that couldn't exist but somehow did on paper. Humans have always been fascinated by impossibilities. We draw them, dream about them, imagine them into existence. High Counselor Vexhai leaned forward. I fail to see the relevance. The planet isn't in quantum superposition, Sarah said, quietly. It's dreaming. The chamber fell silent except for the Zilithian's stunned harmonic discord. Dreams, Dr. Chen? Wispara's color shifted to confused yellow. Planets don't dream. This one does. Sarah pulled up her analysis, crude compared to their sophisticated models but approaching the problem from an angle none of them had considered. Kepler 442b isn't just a planet, it's a massive neural network. The quantum minerals in its core don't just process information, they experience it. The planet has achieved consciousness, and what you're observing is its dream state. She gestured to the flickering hologram. When conscious beings dream, they exist in multiple states simultaneously. We're real in our dreams, yet we're also lying unconscious in bed. The planet is dreaming itself in and out of existence, and Because consciousness affects quantum states at massive scales, reality is responding to its dreams. Dr. Kestelar's crystalline form had gone completely still. But how could we communicate with it? How could we prove this theory? Sarah smiled. The kind of smile that had gotten humans through ice ages, world wars, and the journey to the stars through sheer stubborn creativity. We don't communicate with it, we sing to it. Over the next 6 months, Sarah worked with the consortium to develop something unprecedented, a lullaby for a planet. Using human understanding of consciousness, dream states, and the irrational logic of the sleeping mind, they crafted a harmonic sequence that spoke to Kepler 442b not as scientists to a subject, but as one dreaming mind to another. When they finally transmitted the sequence, the results were immediate. The planet's flickering stopped. It stabilized into consistent existence, and for the first time in over 2 centuries, space-time around it behaved normally. But that wasn't the end. In response to their lullaby, Kepler 442b sent something back, not data or signals, but something that could only be described as a cosmic yawn of gratitude, a sleepy acknowledgement from one dreaming consciousness to others who had helped it find peaceful sleep. The implications rippled through the galaxy. Suddenly, phenomena that had been dismissed as impossible were reconsidered through the lens of consciousness and dreams. The galactic scientific method expanded to include not just logic and computation, but intuition, creativity, and the uniquely human ability to find patterns in chaos. Sarah Chen returned to Earth as quietly as she had left, but the galaxy was never the same. The consortium established new protocols for investigating impossible phenomena, always including human consultants, not for their technology or computational power, but for their minds that could leap across logical gaps and find meaning in paradox. And on Kepler 442b, a planet-sized consciousness slept peacefully for the first time in millennia, occasionally dreaming of the small, ordinary human who had understood that sometimes the most complex problems required the simplest solution. Recognizing that consciousness in all its forms was the most powerful force in the universe. In the end, she had looked ordinary because humans always did, until the moment they revealed that their greatest strength wasn't in their tools or their technology, but in their gloriously illogical, beautifully chaotic, impossibly creative minds.